Gentlemen, welcome back to a chicken side chat. We're going to feed some rowan berries low, and behold the rowan tree, heavy with fruit portents of a harsh winter. Set to harvesting these rowan berries, they're slightly too astringent for my palate. However, that is acidic. However, the chickens say they like that sort of thing. The Sorbus americana, a mountain ash, americana rather, part of the rose family. And in years, well, the old fellas say that in years where the fruit is heavy, we're going to have a harsh winter. Partner, let me tell you, forewarned is forearmed. Autumn is upon us, and I can feel the witch of November come stealing. That feeling of dread come the holidays, it's coming early. Why is that? The rhetoric on the pandemic is ramping up. Why is that? Well, flu season's coming along. Now, you don't need to understand what an object or an item or something is. All you need to do is understand what it does. If you understand what it does, then you understand. Now, let me congratulate you on surviving thus far. And I will remind you that you, me, and the devil makes three all come from a long line of survivors. If you are here, it's because you and all of your forebears are survivors. So you make the mistake of scrolling through your news feed, or horror of horrors, there are masochists in the world, your social media feed, and the first thing you notice is how stupid people are. And it doesn't matter which side of the debate you're on. You will see that people are stupid. Now, I will reiterate that I've said this before, I'll say it again. Half of the population is below average intelligence. So it is very easy for someone to tie in to your innate sense of superiority and let you know that the other side of the equation are fucking dummies. I want you to know you're not alone. You're scrolling through your nosebleed while you watch some overhyped Netflix documentary series that could have been done in 30 minutes and it's making you angry. It's because it's designed to make you angry. It doesn't matter what you think, which side of the debate. It doesn't matter. It is designed to make you angry. Hard work never killed nobody, but stress and anxiety, it sure has. We, heroes all, are judged by the caliber of our enemies. Odysseus' enemy was not wrestling that one-eyed monster in the cave, but his own hubris. And we are beset by enemies who seek to prevent us from discussing things, to sow rancor and tribalness, us against them, when it's really we. We're all in this pulling together, apart. I mean, beyond the obvious that it's a pandemic and we're all going to die eventually. Bad reason the first, and in no particular order, contract tracing. We, that is our governments, which are a reflection of we as flawed and inept as, In any case, despite iPhone and Android instituting the possibility just recently of contract tracing for any app that needs it, huge swaths of the citizenry have yet to install contact tracing apps on their phone. So there's no way for the government to watch you as you go through your day-to-day, for your own benefit, of course. Bad reason, and an issue near and dear to my heart, because I believe there is a usage case for a digital currency. Now, it's arguable that we already have a digital currency, and that if you try to do any larger size transactions, you can't do it with cash. You want to buy stock, you can take all of your savings out of the bank because we're just about in negative interest rates. That means that if you put money in the bank, it costs you money to have it sitting there, to say nothing of inflation. However, a digital currency increases the speed of transaction. So how could a shutdown help institute a digital currency? And I tell you, friends, digital currency is coming because the usage cases are far too strong to do without. As demonstrated in the previous shutdown, the stimulus didn't do what it was intended to do because a lot of people who got the stimulus didn't really need it to pay their rent. If they didn't need it, it got saved or it got invested in the stock market. And we saw the big blip from Robinhood $2,000 investors. So the stimulus checks printed in the basement of the Federal Reserve did very little to increase the speed of money, to increase the flow of money. So if you have a digital currency now, you can direct where that money goes to. This money goes into your digital wallet, Johnny Paycheck, and you need to spend it on certain things. That is, you cannot put it into the stock market. You need to go and buy penny whistles and moon pies right fucking now. Your government-issued digital wallet, wherein you keep your imperial credits, which happens to also have access to the contract tracing data on your telephone, which also gives you the green check mark that allows you to go into school because you have been vaccinated. That digital wallet will not enable your next batch of downloaded dollary dues until you spend all of the previous batch. It's no secret that prior to the COVID hammer falling, there was beginnings, rumblings of an economic slowdown. Now, you recall a few years ago in the States, and I talk about the States because of its status as the federal, as a world reserve currency. It's a very important, the most important fiat currency. You recall a few years ago what a hassle it was to get the debt ceiling in the US increased. It actually shut down the government. So how do you get legislators to agree to increase the debt once again? Make them hurt. Terrible reason D for another shutdown is you got a cush job. If you're comfortably middle class, and you got decent income coming in from either a government job or you're in healthcare, then working from home is fan-fucking-tastic. To a man, every person who I have spoken to who lived through the former shutdown, who had a good either union job or working for the government, fucking loved it. And all of the tools on the stools, engineers and trade, technical people, what I've had opportunity to discuss with, and there are many, not to toot my own horn, but I have had some rigorous intercourse and congress with a great many of you, are balls to the walls working all the time. It brings up that image from Schindler's List where that poor accountant is running for the train. They made money hand over fist working double bubble OT. It is, unfortunately, the working poor who suffer the most. People without health care, people who run a number of gigs living hand to mouth. And all them mom and pop shop jiu-jitsu and hair cutting and little restaurantes getting fucking murder-lated. Still got to pay the rent. But hey, Scamazon's doing just fine. Bad reason the fifth for having another lockdown. And I haven't got a hog in that bite, to quote a common leghorn, is there's a federal election in the United States of America coming November 2nd, which happens to coincide with the uptick of the flu season. Now, it is well known that a certain political party does quite a bit better when the voter turnout is low. And as I said, I got no one wizened old whizbag against another. Far be it for me to judge what a sovereign nation does within its own bounds. You guys elect who you want. I can't even bet on the fucking thing. The betting sites won't take my credit card, sons of bleaches. But if fewer voters turn out, there is one party what does better than t'other. Bad reason the sixth for having a COVID shutdown. And speaking to to the States as the exception, what proves the rule. Here in the rest of the Commonwealth English-speaking countries, we tend to have more liberal governments, and there is a push on for a new Green Deal. How do you take away 7% here in Canada? Our GDP is oil, another 7% is agriculture, another 5% is transportation, roughly 20% of our gross domestic product. And our fearless leaders want to change us over lock, stock, and barrel to a new Green Deal. For better, for worse, this is not the place to debate that. But how do you get huge, entrenched industries to change? You fucking make them hurt. Again, show them the stick, give them the carrot. With just the 6 bad reasons to have another lockdown, I'd like to add also a Federal Reserve chairman out of Minnesota made he smoke out of turn or possibly false flagged us in saying that what we need, this was back in August, is another 6-month lockdown in order to get everything settled. This is not me saying this. Also, there's a reason why a lot of wealthier individuals are sitting on cash. Why would you be sitting on cash when they're printing it in the basement and they're talking about inflation running very hot? If you have cash and inflation is running hot, you are losing money. Savers are losers. So if you're sitting on cash, you gotta know something is coming. That is, there's a fire sale on assets somewhere. Knowing all of this, or at least conjecturing all of this, I am quite pleased to say that old Uncle Bumblefuck, he ain't hurting. I got superpowers in that I got 2 little ones to feed. I'll go and pick up cigarette butts to make sure my kids don't starve to death. So I ain't worried, but I am ready. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm just a nutcase talking out of his arse. Could be. Thanks for watching. Keep your dick in a vice. And if you don't hear from me again, you know what happened. Please sneak into my house and clear my browser history.